Good morning, everybody. We are recording very early this morning, so please excuse our swollen eyeballs. But we tried for you guys. This was the only time we could record today, so here we are. It is Tuesday morning.
No, it's not.
Yep, you're right. It's Wednesday. It's a Wednesday morning, August 11th. This is going to be Push Live tomorrow. We are talking all about preseason, and that is so important for you guys to know about because it starts tomorrow.
I know I keep bringing up Cardi B and like go back and watch the reels about me being excited. Ooh, butterflies. That's literally, preseason is, everybody's like, oh, preseason doesn't count, but like it's the start of football season, people. I am so freaking pumped. Obviously, I'm in a hotel room. I'm traveling for work. So again, just to add to Christine's point, this is the only time that we could squeeze in recording this week. And
Even worse, it's Central Time where Sarah is because she's in Fort Worth, Texas. So it is 8:00 a.m. my time here in Virginia, and it is 7:00 a.m. Sarah's time in Fort Worth. So it is a very early morning.
It is a very early morning. And of course, we had to get up and get somewhat cute for you guys. But yes, again, to Christine's point, my eyes are very swollen. So hopefully they start to peel open as we start talking about football season because I get so excited. So kick us off, Christine.
First thing is first, what is up, everybody? My name is Christine. I am your Joe Schmo when it comes to sports knowledge, and I am here to ask all the questions that you have at home.
And I am Sarah, your self-proclaimed sports expert, and I am here to answer all of the questions that Christine has and hopefully all of those questions that you have at home. So yes, if you haven't picked up already on what we're talking about today, we are talking about NFL preseason. So that is National Football League preseason, football preseason. I kind of touched on this a little bit in our training camp episode, but I really want to dive into it today because I think as a fan, what you'll hear a lot of is, oh, it's just preseason. Like, oh, it's just preseason. Like it doesn't count because it doesn't. Like it doesn't
count towards their regular season record, but like it is the start of football season. Like this is finally, we've been waiting since February to watch some football.
I know. And thank God for the Olympics. Can we just have like a little RIP to all of like that's all I did for 2 straight weeks was sit on my couch and watch the Olympics. So I was a little bit sad when it stopped and I was watching the closing ceremonies this past weekend. So
yeah, but it's just in time for preseason football to start because again, it starts tomorrow, August 12th. And how many games do each team play in the preseason?
Yeah. So each team plays 4 games in the preseason, right? So they've got, and they're usually on weird nights and at weird times too.
Yeah.
Like the standard.
I mean, we're kind of used to that now with COVID 2020, right?
That's so true. I will never forget the Ravens game on a Wednesday night. We were recording and we were like, wait a second, it's Tuesday. Weird. We've got a game tomorrow night. Like it literally, you're right. So crazy. So we are used to kind of wonky schedules, but the preseason just adds to it. They're usually on Thursday nights. Sometimes they're on Friday nights. Sometimes they're on Saturdays. They're never really on Sundays, which is the regular season game day is Sundays. So you'll see these preseason games start, like Christine said, tomorrow, which is Thursday, August 12th. And I'm pretty sure the first kickoff, which kickoff means the start of the game, you guys. It's when the first kickoff. Yeah. I think it's around like 6:00 Eastern.
But what's even the point of preseason? Like everyone's like, oh, preseason doesn't even count, but like, what is the point of it?
Okay. So why do we have it? Right. A few reasons. Number one is I think, go back again and listen to our training camp episode. It was only like a 20-minute episode. And it kind of breaks down the progression of the off season and how these players go from basically training off the field to training in full pads on the field with their team. So the first thing that preseason really does for these teams is allow them to be in their full pads, their full uniforms on an NFL field. So they're moving from training camp, their training field, onto an NFL field, which is just a completely different environment. And they're in their full pads and they're scrimmaging another team. So for the first thing that it does is really gets these players ready for the regular season. Because again, they're in full pads, they're playing.
Yeah, it gets their juices flowing a little bit.
Yes,
I mean, they've done their training camp. And again, like Sarah said, go back and listen to our training camp episode. It's only 20 minutes. It's a really good episode. If you don't know really a lot about training camp, but these people are rusty. These athletes haven't actually played a real NFL game. Some of them, if they didn't make it to the playoffs last year, some of them haven't been playing since December.
Yes, no, that's so true. It's been 7
Or they
months.
haven't played a game, I should say. So really preseason is an opportunity for them to scrimmage other teams, get their juices flowing. But you also see, Sarah, you never really get to watch a lot of the starters play in preseason. And that is a big reason why a lot of people are like, oh, it's just preseason. It's not that entertaining.
Yeah. So that kind of brings me into the second why for preseason, if you will. So it's not only to get these players to scrimmage. Again, I mean, just to go back to not only have some of these players not played in 8 months, some of these players are coming out of college. And
True, they've never even played in an NFL game before.
They've never played in an NFL game. So it's really good. I always said I'm equating NFL football to my kickball league, but whenever I am working out, we're training, we have practice for kickball. There's nothing quite like, I know you know this.
Wait, you guys work out and train for kickball?
Okay, we practice one day a week, maybe.
I was gonna say,
it's not even in
that
season,
is
right?
really an intense league of kickball.
It's not even in season right now, so no. But it was more so to teach people the rules, because the rules in kickball are bizarre, very bizarre, and each league is different. So anyway, you can run from home to first as many times as you want to, but there is nothing like when you kick that ball for the first time in a game and you are running from home to first base, that sprint, that fire, that somebody is chasing you with the ball and wanting to get you out at first. You are running literally like your life depends on it. So again, getting into a game environment is really going to get these people's bodies or these athletes' bodies in shape. And they have, 4 games before their first regular season. So moving on from the first reason, again, to scrimmage, get everybody's bodies ready for the regular season, get their minds right, whatever. Number 2 is really the main reason for preseason. And it's intense and it's sad. I don't want to be depressing, but these teams go into preseason with around 90 players. They end preseason after their 4th game with a 53-man roster for the regular season.
I remember, we talked about that during our training camp episode. So they're pretty much just vetting all these people. And if you're not good, you're going to get cut. So what happens to these people? Do they actually get cut, or do they just get put on a 3rd string or a 2nd string or, so on?
Yeah. So there will be depth charts is what they're called. And they are, a depth chart will show you each team's starters, 2nd string, 3rd string, and so on at the beginning of preseason. The Panthers just released their first depth chart, right?
Mm-hmm.
You really only have, okay, there are 11 men on the football field at all time, right?
Right.
The 12th man is known as the crowd. That's just total aside. Anyway.
Yes, we learned that in high school. We had shirts on Charlotte Catholic that had the 12th man on it.
Yes. So the 12th man is the crowd, but 11 men on the field, and each position is, there's 11. Okay. So 11 men on the field on offense, 11 men on the field on defense. So there's 22 positions, let's say.
Right. 11 from each team.
Yeah. So there's a 53-man roster. So a lot of these positions that are high risk for injury will have down to a third string, but a lot of them will only have 2 strings. So to your point, if you don't make the 53-man roster, can you make, a 4th, 5th string? Not the team specifically. No, you are cut. But what you can do is be a part of the team's practice squad or another team's practice squad. So
you're not playing for the team. You're not even going to the games. You're just
not
part of
for the games. Yes, that's right.
Are you traveling for the games?
No, you are not traveling for the games. You are just part of their practice squad. And honestly, I'm not 100% positive what the practice squad is for. I'm pretty sure they use them during practice to scrimmage.
Yeah.
And they still make really good money. So don't don't feel super bad for them. I think they make $300,000 a year.
To be on the practice squad, they don't even have to, they've got the best job ever. They don't have to travel.
Right. But they're still not they don't know what their next year is going to hold. So it's not guaranteed that they're going to be on the practice squad again the next year. They really want to make a team, longevity. They want to sign a contract. It means more money for them and their families. So if you don't make the team, then sometimes you will make that team's practice squad, or your agent manager will get you in contact with another team. You'll make another team's practice squad. Sometimes, Christine, they don't make anything.
So what determines if they make money or not then?
If they make a practice squad, then they'll make money.
But you said sometimes they don't make anything, or you're saying sometimes they don't make any team.
Sometimes they don't make any team.
Oh, okay.
And so they,
well, you got to do better.
Yeah. And so they'll just, try out again next year, and kind of go through the entire training camp process again, if a team will pick them up. So it's a very, very difficult process. Everybody, thinks and looks at these first round draft picks out of college and just kind of assumes that's what everybody does, but it's not the case. These people, especially during preseason, are playing for their careers. They're playing for their spot on the team. That's really what they want to do. It's also the most stressful time for these coaches and general managers. Can you imagine creating rapport and building relationships with these men? And then they are having to cut almost half of the people that they're walking into preseason with. They're going down from around 90 to a 53-man roster. So the reason why there are 4 games is to, yes, scrimmage, get everybody's feet wet, get their bodies right, get their minds right. But it is to cut those people. So I said this during the training camp episode, but you are down to 85 people. So there's the first game of the preseason, right?
Right.
You have all your players. At the end of the first game, before the second game, you're down to 85 players. At the end of the second game, you're down to 80 players. At the end of the third game, so
historically there are 4 games. Lo and behold, we just found out there are actually only 3 games in the preseason this season, except the Steelers and the Cowboys play 4 preseason games because they played in the Hall of Fame game, which was actually last week.
Yes. Okay. Yes. And it's because of, I guess, COVID. They're wanting to reduce the players' contact with each other. I don't know if maybe it was just such a wonky year last year. They didn't want to have the teams play 4 games, but yes, every other year except for 2020 and 2021 is 4 games per team. But this year specifically, there are only 3. So it's even more of a crazy cut schedule, right?
Yeah. They're cutting people left and right.
So you've got your first game down to 85 players. You've got your second game. After the second game, you're down to 80. And after your third game, you're down to 53. So between the second and the third game, you're cutting 27 players, Christine.
Yikes.
So
they better show up and do their best. So why do you still not see the best players play in the preseason? Is it because they don't want to get hurt?
Yeah, they don't want them to get hurt. You're still playing another team, and you're playing another team of players that are playing for their careers and their jobs. So
they're playing hard. And if they already know that they have a good spot, then they're not going. Yeah. Okay. That makes sense.
Yes. So you're playing another team. Like what you might see, starters during preseason, they'll play for like
a couple minutes.
First quarter. Yeah. They'll play for maybe the first quarter. Sometimes they'll play for the first half. I remember Cam, whenever we had Cam Newton on our team, he played through the second quarter in a preseason game. And I'm pretty sure that's the game that he hurt himself. He hurt his ankle. So that's exactly why they don't play.
It was in the preseason though, right?
Yes, it was in the preseason. So that's exactly why. But like, it's definitely difficult for these players. It's in their blood. They definitely want to play.
Right.
Especially with the fans there, if it's a home game and people are cheering, they want to go on the field and show off. So
Michael and I were watching Hard Knocks last night, which is an HBO series that kind of goes behind the scenes of certain NFL teams that they choose for that week. And of course, this week, which was last night, they did one on the Dallas Cowboys, and Michael is a huge Dallas Cowboys fan. And they mic up all of these players during practice, and it's so funny. But during training camp, how a lot of fans are allowed to come and watch.
Yeah.
These players were like, damn, we haven't seen this amount of people in years. It seemed like he was like,
I know.
He was like, this is only training camp. Like this gets me hyped for the actual regular season.
Oh, that's so awesome to hear.
I know.
I'm always like, how do they feel about, like, obviously during games, like fans, like we said, they're the 12th man. They're the ones who add to
they bring the energy,
playing ability. Yes, they bring the energy. They make it so difficult for the visiting team. They're just that extra oomph, right? But I'm like, what do the players really think about the fans? Like,
really, if you think about it, especially in training camp or during, their practice, whatever, like, just like whenever you go to the gym to work out rather than when you work out at home. Okay. And this may just be me. I don't work out at home as hard as I do when I go to the gym. And it's just this weird thing that you just know people are watching you. So you just work out harder.
Yes. You want to put on a good show.
Yeah.
You want to put on a good show.
So I think it's the same thing for these men, these professional athletes that are in training camp. And whenever they have their games, it just brings the energy that drives them to play the best that they can.
Yeah, no, that's such a good point. Well, like I said, you're going to hear your significant others, your friends, your dad say, it's just preseason. It doesn't count. We already know who our starters are. Watch preseason, you guys. There is a lot that is happening. You'll get to see players that you really aren't going to see for the rest of the season. Some that you will, that are just upcoming stars that nobody really knows about right now. But it really puts into perspective what a hard job coaching and being a general manager of a football team is like. I mean, they are evaluating these players like crazy during this year's 3 preseason games. And they're having to make such difficult decisions at the end of each game, and those depth charts. Like I said, you'll see who's starting, who's second string, third string, so on and so forth. And maybe one of your favorite players dropped to a lower spot. Maybe you'll want that person to, get up to that second string or get up to that first string again. They're stuck in that third string spot right now. So just keep an eye out for. Yes, look at those depth charts. Watch preseason. If nothing else, it'll get you hyped for the regular season. So,
which starts when?
It starts on September 9th, which literally feels like it's less than a month away, Christine. So crazy.
Yep. And it's the Cowboys versus the Buccaneers.
Woo! I always against the Bucs. Everything, I own, everything against the Bucs. So go Cowboys.
Me too, Sarah. Go Cowboys. All right, you guys. Well, that wraps up this week's episode of It's Sports Sis. Short and sweet. Make sure you watch preseason. We love you guys so much. Subscribe to our YouTube channel and subscribe to our podcast. And we will see you next week.
Bye-bye.